Welcome back to my channel. I am Abe with mysticgenmara.com. Today I would like to go over some meditation basics before we go into deeper subjects. Some styles of meditation and some beliefs and benefits of performing meditation on a daily basis. I know this is going to be fairly basic for some people, but I like to build my foundations on my information, how I work with it and how I teach it before I go into deeper conversations. So, meditation by definition is continued or extended thought, reflection, or contemplation, or a devout religious contemplative experience or spiritual introspection. Makes it really clear, doesn't it? It's the reason dictionaries are not always the greatest things. Meditation is something that needs to be experienced. It is the opposite of prayer in my mind and my way of thinking. During prayer or ritual, you are actively putting out a petition or request to God, the universe, source energy. In meditation, you are being open to the answer. You're quieting your mind to activate your intuition or bringing yourself into a state of higher alignment. Meditation is passive, whereas prayer and active ritual are active. And by passive, you're not projecting so much at the start. You'll get into that eventually, but we're going basics here. So the very basics of meditation always go back to breathing. So right now, I'm going to introduce an exercise that I ask that you practice for the remainder of this video. Place your hand on your belly. You can put one hand, both hands. It doesn't matter which hand either. Breathe in and allow your belly to expand outward. And as you exhale, feel the stomach muscles contract at the very end of your exhale. Now, breathe in through your nose for a slow count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a gentle pause, and exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep this slow and steady breathing pattern for the rest of this video. And at the end, take a note of how your body feels. So, basic meditation is simply breathing and quieting your mind. Sometimes you can count backwards from 10 or 100. At first, doing this basic meditation can cause you to fall asleep. This is normal, and it's actually good for you. It's a way for your body to accept relaxation. We live in a very high-stress environment in our current world. So when you allow yourself to gently relax, your body is going to do what it needs to do, and if that's sleep, then you're going to conk out and have a nap. So don't fight your body on that. By practicing daily, though, you will actually start to stimulate your subconscious mind, which is how you get into your alpha mind state, and that is how you can begin to hold that focus at a better point. And the meditation descriptions that I'm going to go through are good starting points for this, because you can take meditation as far as universal meditation, which I'm not going to describe today, but it is a very powerful way to expand your awareness. So there's a lot you can go from here. I'm just going to introduce some simple basics today. So when you start meditating, some people like to have a gentle music. Other people will put in earplugs because they want absolute silence. I have used both for different reasons, and so as we go through here, I'll recommend what I do for this type of meditation, because some are more conducive to being in silent states and some are more conducive to having the music. So it's better to always practice in a place where you have no distractions. If you have a bedroom, you can close the door. Great. If you have an office where you can close the door, great. And tell anyone who lives with you not to bother you for the next 20 minutes or so. It's just a simple way so that you can have that time to focus on the practice. Once you get into the practice, you'll be able to do general stuff even in chaotic environments like your work office. You can bring yourself into a quick meditative state, bring yourself down in calm, and even with the noise around you, you'll be able to find your center. But to begin with, find a place without distractions. How I practice is either sitting upright on a chair, preferably a harder chair, so that you're comfortable but you're not falling asleep comfortable. And sitting forward so your back is straight, and have both feet flat on the floor. My personal advice when you're first starting out, don't wear shoes. You can wear socks if your feet get cold, but you want your feet to be able to contact the ground. It's just a way of helping your energy field connect in, and I will go into detail on that in a future video. You can also sit in a yoga pose with your legs crossed and your spine straight. And at the beginning, it's to keep you aware and discouraging you from dozing off. I personally do not recommend when you're first starting out laying down. Advanced practitioners will get into a point where they need to lie down because their body muscles just drop so much from the relaxation that it's better if they are laying down. But to start with, sitting upright allows you to stay more focused and stay more aware, not so much conscious. By doing this type of breathing and relaxing, it can relieve your stress within your body, muscles in your neck, shoulders, things like that. It also will increase your mental clarity, according to a lot of studies. And when you're doing that deeper breathing, it actually will help expand your lung capacity and help you breathe more fully. By breathing more fully, you bring in more oxygen and nitrogen, which is what we need to function healthy. It also helps to bring your awareness out of your head. We get wrapped up in our head, and that's where a lot of our stress comes from, because we're focused on the future, we're focused on the past, things we didn't do, things we should do, all those wonderful lists. But by slowing your mind down and bringing your attention to your breathing, you can step away from that for just a second or two, and just doing that time, 4 or 5 minutes at a time to start with, will bring you so much more relaxation, and you'll notice that your productivity over time will increase because you've slowed down. And that's kind of a tenet of a lot of Eastern philosophies, is in slowness there is strength, in stillness there is power. And that's a theme that I've taken into my life in a lot of different ways, and I really use it with meditation. And we'll get into that. So, just to check in, are you still doing your slow breathing? Are you feeling your belly expand on the inhales and contract on the exhales? How are you feeling? Just a quick check-in with your body. Are your shoulders more relaxed? Do you feel more calm? Try to keep with that breathing. Counts of 4. 4 in, 2, 3, 4, and 4 out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep your breathing slow and steady as we continue on. There are different styles of meditations. There are moving meditations like Tai Chi or yoga, and that's where that slowness builds strength comes into play. And these are very well known, but there are many more, and I will go into those at a later time. This is an introduction. Then there are the stationary meditations, where you sit or settle into a yoga pose. These meditations are where you have to exert personal will at the very beginning. Our bodies and minds have been trained to always be running at full speed, observing everything, having all these things, multitasking. So when you first start out meditating, this can be a challenge to bring yourself into a single moment and to relax and focus. I highly recommend getting into a practice of Tai Chi or yoga at the very beginning of any meditation practice. Doing this on a daily basis is twofold. Actually, it's threefold. It's good for your body because the movements help you loosen your joints. It helps you break down any excess in your energy field that you want to get rid of and purge. It's good for the mind. It gets your blood flowing, gets that oxygen going in and out on a very clean and clear basis. And it's good for your spirit and your soul because it brings you into a focused state. We are so unfocused in our modern world with instant gratification, instant everything, that coming into this higher alignment allows us to understand spiritual concepts and beliefs at a very deep level. And I firmly believe that it does not matter if you are a Protestant, a Catholic, a Jew, pagan, it doesn't matter. I think that the practices of yoga and Tai Chi and basic meditations are good for everybody through all time. It helps you deepen your connection to spirit and source. So, moving on to stationary meditations, there are multiples within this branch. There are guided meditations, which is what I usually practice with other people. Then there are unguided practices, which is where you sit quietly, usually alone, or even if it's in a group and you have one focus, but you're on your own journey. There are some that use music, like singing bowls, crystal or metal. There's some that use meditation music, like binaural beats, with words or without. And then there's the ones that use absolute silence, where you just sit and you observe the non-noise around you. Some recommend being out in nature, and if you have never been in a meditation in nature, I highly recommend finding a place where the sun is out but not going to get sunburnt, and enjoying the quietness of it and allowing yourself to just go into an aligned state. I personally, because of my zodiac sign, I prefer being around water when I do my meditations outside. Listening to a bubbling brook is just the most relaxing thing for me, and it actually shifts me into a different state with almost no effort on my part. So that's how I tap in. Some people are going to find the water distracting, but just being out in nature and allowing yourself to meditate there is such a powerful experience, and I highly recommend it. So the above breathing practice, the one that you are practicing right now, is called a mindfulness meditation. It's a stationary practice that you can use music with if you so choose. You focus on your breathing. You bring your attention to the now moment. You observe the thoughts that are going through your mind, but you are not a part of those thoughts. You watch them, you let them go, you don't examine them, you don't experience an emotion or a feeling with them. You are literally just watching those thoughts and letting them go. You do not hold on to them. It takes time and practice to get used to doing this. And at the beginning, from experience, 5 minutes of sitting there quietly trying to get your mind to quiet down is a nightmare. It is so difficult. But practicing daily will get you into a point where you can hold that quiet state and just allow and let those thoughts go away. You can get to a point where you can hold that state for 30 minutes to an hour. Your body and your mind are so quiet and calm at that point that when you come out of it, you hold that energy, that quiet, being able to silence your mind and the mental chatter, the monkey mind, for longer and longer periods, even outside of meditation. And mindfulness meditation has a unique ability that it brings you back into the present moment. You're not worrying about the future. You're not having anxiety about the future, the things that are coming. You're not stressing, having depression over the past. It brings you into the now moment, the present, which is where we need to be anyway. Our power, our personal power, our connection to source, our connection to the divine, our connection to other people is all within the now moment. So when you spread yourself too thin by focusing about the past or the future, you can't be in the now, and mindfulness brings you back into that present time. So if you start feeling yourself getting anxious or you're at work and there's so many things to do, take 5 minutes out and practice the deep breathing, allowing your mind to quiet, put your plugs in if you have to, and bring yourself back into a calmer state. And by doing that every time you start to feel anxious or start to get overwhelmed, you actually will increase your productivity massively because you're clearing out all the noise, and then your mind can focus on this is the next step, this is the next project, and it gets you more organized. So if you're an organization person, this is a good one for you. Then there was one that exploded in popularity, I believe it was in the late 60s, early 70s, and it was called Transcendental Meditation. This is another stationary-based meditation, so you're not moving around. It was originally introduced and made popular by the yogi Maharishi Mahesh. I may have messed that name up, and I do apologize for that. This is a very specific type of meditation that uses mantras, which are spoken phrases, that deepen and alter the states that you live in every day. I won't go into this one too much because it is a middle to advanced practice in my mind, and I recommend finding a teacher that's been certified and trained in this to start learning about it. There are books on the subject that you can read, but I feel in this particular one that going to an actual teacher and getting a lot more training in it is a better way. And that's one of the ones that they've used when they're lowering crime rates in different towns. The Transcendental is one of the practices that they have used to help affect a greater community, and that's why I recommend finding a teacher to work with you on that. It's just, there's a lot more to it than what I'm going to introduce today. So the third practice is spiritual meditation. This one is referenced multiple times in different holy books. The Bible talks about it, the Bhagavad Gita talks about it, and I believe even the Quran talks about it. And I know it's throughout the Jewish texts. This one uses your faith, your religious lineage path, whichever. It uses the Holy Scriptures from your path as the basis for your focus. And this one's generally a stationary meditation. In it, you can use a Bible verse, you can do the rosary, things like that as your focus. It is a contemplative meditation that helps you deepen your experience in your religious path. So the way I have done this one in the past is I will take and pick up my Bible or one of the texts that I'm studying at the time, and I will find a key phrase. A lot of people use the 23rd Psalm as a way to deepen it. And you'll do your breathing exercises. You'll breathe in for 4, out for 4, and just kind of get yourself to start relaxing. And then you will read whichever section it is. You'll read it 3 or 4 times. You're not chanting it. You're not saying it out loud, or you can, but you don't have to repeat it. But you read it 3 or 4 times, and then you just quiet yourself and allow the message to kind of anchor itself deeper into your mind. This is also a really good way to start having those experiences where you pray for something, then you read one of the verses or the scriptures, and then you allow yourself to receive the answer. You have a lot more divine ahas at this point. It's when your intuition through your spiritual connection really starts to wake up. So even within a spiritual path of a religious denomination, you can still use meditation to help you with your spiritual seeking. So the next one I want to bring up is the focused meditation, and that is describing things like gazing into a crystal or a crystal ball, focusing on a candle flame, gazing at the reflection on a body of water. This is a good way to help you bring your attention into a specific point, a specific subject, and a specific time. So I use this a lot when I'm training with myself, just personally stuff, with new topics that I'm studying. I find a representation of that topic, and I'll place it in front of me. Sometimes it's a little statue, sometimes it's a symbol. And I use that as a focus for meditation to bring myself into an alignment with whatever that topic is. You can use focused meditation while you're going for a walk out in nature as well. You could probably do it on a treadmill, but I feel like that constant noise of the treadmill to me would be distracting. But if you can do that, great. Put an image in front of you so that you can keep your focus on it, like a mountain when you're out in the woods. Or if you're on a green belt and there's a stream next to you, keep your attention focused on the stream while you walk. You might have to slow your pace a little bit. And when you're focusing on that one thing, eventually your mind is filled with whatever it is. If you're focusing on a candle, the only thing you're going to have in your mind after a time is that candle flame. You're going to feel the candle flame move before it moves. It's going to be a very focusing experience where you just bring your attention to a single topic. the beauty of that is when you're not in that meditative state, you can actually bring your focus in a much more condensed way when you're working on projects for work or for personal time. So it's just a good way to help you train your mind to bring in that focus. Now, this one is a chanting meditation or a mantra meditation, depending on which practice you wish to call it. These are stationary, is how I see them. Some people use them walking. I prefer stationary for these. And you can use music as a background, so you have music playing while you're doing your chanting. Transcendental meditation is one of the types you can do that are in this. But you can use simple things like the tone Om. It's the Hindu symbol for the creation of the universe. You can use a psalm. You can use a Bible verse, a simple phrase. If you are Catholic and you have saints, you can chant that saint's name. And when you are doing this, you're inhaling, and on the exhale, you're extending all of your breath, saying the name. So you'd breathe in, and let's say you're using Archangel Michael. You'd say, Michael. You draw the name out for the full extent of your exhale. When you do it, you're not speaking directly from your throat. You're actually dropping it down. They call it vibrating words, but you want to feel a vibration in your chest. So when you say these tones and these words, you're saying them out loud, but you're also feeling them in your body. And it makes a very powerful experience in connecting you to the word or the saint or the Bible verse. If you're doing Bible verses, I recommend shorter ones that you can say completely in one breath, because these are inhale, you're quiet, you're exhaling, and you're vibrating that word, phrase, or Bible verse into your body and into the environment around you. If you're wanting to practice with this one, starting off, I would use words like peace or the Om symbol. And you can use that until your mind quiets, kind of as an introduction. And once your mind quiets, then you can just experience the quietness of meditation. So these are good ways to get started, and that's what I'm working on. I build everything that I do off of this is step 1, this is step 2. So these are step 1s. So a spin on the focused meditation is visualization. You can start out by having a picture of what you want to focus on out in front of you. Practice your breathing, maybe use a mantra if you have one for that topic. Bring your attention to the picture. And this is more active on your part than it was in the previous ones. In the previous ones, you're quieting your mind, just bringing your attention to one point. With visualization, you are stepping into the image that you're looking at. If it's like, say you're using visualization like a vision board for a house, you are building a 3D model of that house in your mind. So you can stare at it until you feel that shift in your mind and it's noticeable. Then you can close your eyes and just hold the image in your mind. You build it out into a 3-dimensional state. See yourself driving up the driveway to this house. See yourself walking through the door. What does the doorknob feel like? When you walk in the door, what's the smell? How does the air feel? Then you walk around the room. Each room in the house, if there's stairs, if there's a basement, and you're experiencing this in your mind's eye. It takes practice to get done, because we like not to see things so clearly in our minds sometimes. We just want to have a concept. That's great. But if you're working on building something as a business or getting into your first home or expanding your family, finding that special somebody, having the ability to imagine it in your mind sets your mind up and sets up your consciousness to accept it better. So if you're looking for a relationship, just saying, I want this person to be a loving partner, and that's where you stop. Okay, well, that's cool, but how is it loving? Visualize it. Is it coming home and that person's made dinner for you? Is it coming home and seeing that there's new fresh flowers on the counter? Things like that are the images that if you can bring them into a visualized state, you can accept them easier. And so when you have intentions, this is a way to help them come into a manifested state. Sorry, I'm stumbling a little bit. I don't usually do videos quite this long. Um, so, with that, how are you doing? Are you still breathing deeply? Does your body feel more relaxed? Is the tension that sits in your people's neck and shoulders more loose? And how do you feel breathing that deeply? Do you feel more open? Do you feel more calm? I hope that this has been a good introduction for you to different styles of meditation. In the future, I will be introducing some guided meditations and some other topics of discussion, and I will have them in a specific playlist on the channel on YouTube. On Odyssey, I will see how that works. But if you're comfortable with it, drop a comment and let me know how this made you feel or what your thoughts are on it. And maybe like the video if it was something that you're interested in. And if this is the type of content or things that you're interested in, go ahead and tap that subscribe button or the follow button and just let me know in the comments what you thought and any topics you're interested in. I'm going to start off with basics for everything, and we'll build on that. I want a strong foundation before we go jumping into the deep water. So I try to upload videos 1 or 2 times a week, and the topics will vary. Some will be meditation, some will be book reviews, might even throw a movie review in there once in a while. But just I want to share what I've been experiencing and what I've been doing for the last 20 years, and I feel that in today's world, it's a good thing to start connecting back into our spiritual selves and getting more aligned with what makes us better people. I believe very firmly that at our heart we're all good people and that we sometimes just need a reminder of that. So, I will talk to you all later and have a blessed day.